That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Trade Talk. I'm in the new set now. This is the new official area for comic reviews and Trade Talk. And this week we're discussing Insexts, Volume 1 by Marguerite Bennett. I love me some Marguerite Bennett. We have art here by, hope I don't fuck this up, Ariel Kristantana? Yeah. So, this is horror. This is body horror. So if that kind of stuff can really get to you as it does for many, totally understandable. Before you say no, I can't watch something like this, just hold on. All right. Because I want to read for you the thing that sold me on this and put it in my head to keep an eye out for. And that is Marguerite Bennett's introduction to the book. I remember her posting this at one point, and I read it, and I was like, oh man, I really got to read that book, because one, I love Marguerite Bennett, and two, I love this premise. Erotic body horror? Now, why would a nice girl from a nice family want to write something like that? I wrote Insects because I am a woman. And to be a woman is to live a life of body horror. If you are female, you learn early that something is wrong with you and that you will be punished for it. You are told you are weaker than others. You are told to be dainty. You are told to be modest, sweet, smiling, quiet. Your body is trained. Your body is restrained. You know that to be a female is to be flawed. You know it is degrading to be a girl, to be likened to a girl. You hit like a girl. You cry like a pussy. You whine like a little bitch. You're not like other girls. As you grow in age, your body distorts. It grows, curves, and distensions. It swells and aches if it cramps and bleeds. You'll be treated differently. Authorities will make you cover your body. You'll be sent home if your body is not covered enough. Your classmates cannot be expected to behave with respect or control. Your body is to blame. Strangers make comments about your body. Strangers follow you because of your body. They express their desire to do things to your body. They may hurt your body because of their ability or inability to do those things they desire. They may hurt your body because of what they do not find there. Your body is an untrustworthy ally, a traitor in waiting. You grow hair on your body which you are told is dirty and disgusting, and which you cut off or rip out, but it always returns. You sweat. There are scents to your body that are not fruity or floral. You scrub and clean and cut and bleach and paint and highlight and condition and spray and fast and tan and train and powder and contour and starve, but nothing is ever enough to perfect the expectations on your body. You are criticized for needing or even for wanting to do these things, though you are punished when you fail to do them. But even if you achieve the correct image without these actions, you'll be despised for aging and the fading of the beauty of your body. Your youth is valued, your desirability, your sexual availability, and these things are fleeting and determined by strangers. Your body will hurt you sometimes, organs shifting, changing, growing, expelling. You may be capable of having children. A partner may revile you for being unable to have children. A partner may revile you for being with child at an undesirable time. The having or not having of children is your fault and blame. Your body is not your own. Your body belongs to others. You'll be punished for your body with your body. And because of this, I wrote a story about all the horror and power and sensuality and rage of the bodies of women. Metamorphic. What is soft becomes hard. What is gentle becomes sharp. Clicking teeth and chittering mandibles live under the warm flesh. What was colonized and enslaved breaks free. Why would I write this? Because I am a woman. I live in a world of body horror. And so do you. So that really did sell me on the book, and I hope it would at least consider making you want to read it. So really, I could end trade talk there, but I'm not going to, of course. So yeah, I love Margaret Bennett's writing. She is very introspectional. She does an absolutely perfect and astounding job of blending very high concept ideas, whether they be social, political, philosophical, and meshing them with really solid storytelling. I am an advocate for more socially, politically conscious storytelling, for more things that consider the political implications of what they do. But there is definitely an argument to be made that can make stories uninteresting, and it's not because politics aren't interesting. Politics are in everything. It's not because social issues are uninteresting. Social issues revolve the whole world. You have to write about social issues. It's that people don't have a ton of imagination and proper understanding and comprehension of these concepts and ways to subvert, invert, and portray them in a fascinating manner that creates dynamic, interesting storytelling. That definitely exists. Margaret Bennett is a master of taking high concept social ideas and turning them into stories. This is a book entirely about the societal chains put on women for their bodies. This is something that is completely in that wheelhouse. And yet, if you didn't read that introduction, you can still read this story and get so much out of it without even necessarily realizing the specific thing that it's meant to be about. So we start off in the late 19th century in England, where a woman is with her handmaid and is asking her about some bruises on the neck, saying that her husband has done this to her and asks if she wants to be sent away. But she does not, because the two are in a relationship together, are having an affair. So there's where the erotic part of the erotic body horror comes from. These two are deeply in love with each other and are intertwined. But the biggest problem the lady is having, as opposed to the handmaid, the biggest problem the lady is having is that she cannot get pregnant with her husband. And so her handmaid convinces her to try something to be able to have a child. Now, there's a lot of sex scenes in this book, and I'm not afraid of demonetization, so I'm going to show them, but I just want people to be prepared for that. So during, and really we're like this much into the book and we're already in some hot lesbian sex. So during their lovemaking, she spits this kind of like ball thing into her mouth. Oh, where's my hand? There we go. And then a few nights later, or the next night even, the woman's starting to sleep with her husband, and she forces this ball thing down his throat. Here's where the body horror begins. He has no idea what's happened, and she quickly rolls over and says goodnight. He wakes up the next morning vomiting, lives for about a day. They hear a scream and come into the next room to see that he has been impregnated and that he has given them a child. It's a beautiful baby boy, and they're going to raise it together. But they begin to notice something. They're transforming. Get real close on the eyes here. Yeah, there you go. See the effect on the eyes there? All the lines in them? This sort starts to get really interesting. There's a lot of sex in this book. You kind of turn a page and you just see scenes like this that are intensely erotic, and then kind of go other places. But unfortunately, maybe, question mark, they're beginning to change, and they're not exactly sure what's coming. So you start to get shit like this. And again, I want to talk about the ideas Margaret Bennett's playing with here, because while this is really creepy, intense art that kind of gets you, oh shit, that's freaky, it's also getting at something. When you talk about societal expectations unjustly put upon women, women are told to be perfect, beautiful little butterflies. She's turning into a butterfly. It's pretty freaky. Anyway, a problem begins to arise, kind of starts to create a lot of the drama of this book, with a London butcher striking helpless women, as well as the in-laws, the brother and sister-in-law of the lady, beginning to come to London because they're sure that this child that is being claimed to be the son of the late husband that was killed, it's not her child. It's all this kind of craziness. So we've got drama unfolding in multiple ways, and that's getting, pretty intense. And we get like a hint of more monsters, more craziness in this world as we get this kind of like werewolf looking thing. That's pretty cool. And so we're thinking maybe that's going to be the villain, and there's a square off in the streets of London against it. And then the sister-in-law character begins to get just crazy evil, and has this whole speech about how she knows that the child's a bastard and all this. And I gotta say, this speech of what she wants to happen to her sister-in-law, what the sister-in-law wants to happen to our lady character that's transforming, let me put it that way so it's more clear, begins to get another idea that I definitely want to talk about. I will see you end in a brothel like the one you have sought tonight. I will see you spreading your reeking black gash to sailors and soldiers and dogs. I will see those ripe lips riddled with sores, weeping pus, that lying tongue wrapped around the pricks of men for whom you betrayed our family's honor. I will see you so hungry, so abject, so you will happily go gagging, choking, retching on the seed of the vermin of the earth. I will see you eat your own filth to survive. And when you can bear no more of your own pertinence, I don't know that word, I will see you, your wench, and your bastard starve. So yeah, you got the villain character here who is pretty fucking evil. And I like her as a choice for a villain. Something we talk about a lot when we're discussing the idea of storytelling revolving around social issues is the way in which you frame them. So it's easy if you want to write a story that's about the societal pressures put on women. It's easy to assume that you're going, and you want to create a villain in this way. It's easy to assume that your villain is going to be male. That's a pretty easy route to take. But this book is about women. So in a way, making the villain male is a bit of a cop-out, because then it's not just about women, it's about women suffering under patriarchy. It's about women fighting against patriarchy. And while that's still definitely a lot of the context of this book, I mean, it's set in 1894, for Christ's sake, that's definitely a lot of the context around this book. What people don't think about when we talk about marginalized communities is they don't think about the way that the marginalized community fights against itself. So to create a villainous character here who is a woman who would wish these kinds of things on another woman because of the place that she has in society and her dislike of the idea of losing that place, losing that honor that comes with her husband, with her family name, is really, really interesting, and it gets to the nature of what that kind of relationship does. What a imbalance, what a society that puts so much pressure on women, so many expectations on women unjustly does. Is it will pit them against themselves. That's really good writing. I love this shit. I will say, I did have a bit of trouble because there ultimately ends up being two female villains in this. One of them, the sister-in-law, one of them, the monster that will be called the Hag. I did have some trouble telling the difference between two of the characters because they're both blonde white women. I had some difference just on the page distinguishing that they were initially separate characters, and I thought that was a bit confusing. So, minor nitpick, I figured it out eventually. The mystery kind of deepens around this Hag character. I did absolutely love this scene where they're talking about how she really needs to get some kind of medical attention because she's going through so many strange transformations and they don't know if she'll be able to control it. And she's being like hand-fed cherries by her lover here, which is very, erotic kind of moment. But then suddenly, as she goes to take a bite of the cherry, that shit happens, and they're all just immediate. I love this sequence of the panel. Lady, I'll find a doctor. I promise, Marina. Discreet, disposable. I'll find a doctor. That's a really, really intense scene where you feel the shock of it, and I really, really like that. There's an abortion scene that was kind of freaky as shit. I'm just gonna show a fucked up scene and give no context because the art here is absolutely fucking terrifying in a stunning ass way. Moving on. We begin to get the introduction of the character called the Hag, who's, oh, okay, I see what I missed. Oh. There's a whole scene that I missed that would have, or, like, that I didn't properly comprehend that would have explained a lot of the problem I had with the Hag character and the sister-in-law character. intermixing. Anyway. Our two protagonists kind of come across this werewolf cult thing that's determined to destroy the hag, and they're assuming that it's them because they're new monsters and they're not really sure what they are, and blah, 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 blah. They end up kind of teaming up to try to take on the hag, who's now possessed the sister-in-law and imbued her with power. And eventually we get our first really good look at the hag, who's running a brothel. And she's freaky looking as fuck. And I like it, and it's creepy and weird. She straight up eats someone's tears, which is like, it's usually just like comedically villainous to do that shit, and like I can never take it seriously. But man, this is creepy the way they sell it. I really, really like that. Elise, Elise, do not weep. Your tears are too sweet to squander. I would savor them. That's, oh, got goosebumps reading it again. Yeah, so our protagonists team up with the cult of werewolf monster hunters, which is pretty sweet, and hunt down the hag. Lady is forced to kill her sister-in-law in kind of a monster brawl that's pretty freaky looking, and you begin to realize the scale of transformation you're getting in this, which is pretty fucking awesome. I love the fucking monster look. Ah, it's so creepy. She's turning into a butterfly, and butterflies are fucking weird, man. So yeah, that's really cool. And then just, oh god, some of the art. Get a little flash forward at the beginning of the final issue. As they go to fight the hag directly. And it's a whole fucking thing. I don't know if I can really explain it all properly. I just kind of want everyone to read it, but I just love how the confrontation keeps escalating and how creepy everything starts to look, and you just get some really fucked monster transformations that are really awesome. And I just like it. It's just good. I will say I did get a little confused. I feel like, who's publishing this? Aftershock Press. I feel like Aftershock, being a smaller publisher, maybe gave this book a bit of a what's the word I want? A bit of a setback, because it feels like there's a lot of things that happen here, and it just doesn't feel like we quite have the pages to show a logical progression of events. Because I definitely felt that way a little bit with the reveal of the hag, who I thought was the sister-in-law the whole time. Then we get a proper reveal that it's two separate characters, and I was like, I remember being confused by that as I was reading, and I'm sure if I read it again that wouldn't be a problem. But then like the sequence of events here in this fight toward the end start to really confuse me, and so I had trouble keeping track of it. I got it all once it was all said and done, but just throughout I did feel a little lost. Anyway, oh, sorry, there's 7 issues, not 6. Anyway, so we get some really freaky-ass imagery that continues on, and shit kind of escalates and escalates and escalates. This guy who is in love with our main character gets killed, and that's, it's nice and freaky. I like it. My favorite part is when we get the final transformation, and it just is fucking nightmare fuel. It's 10:30. Who needs to sleep? You shall claim no more of us, not women, nor men, nor little children. You prey on the weak and the wounded. You slither in through our broken hearts and injured pride, and you make us hate the very things that we are until we are your puppets. You spoke of knights and ladies and those who die against dragons. Your hubris was thinking that you were the dragon, and that there were no better monsters to bring you down. Oh, God, the scale of fucking crazy epic shit that happens in here. The horror. This is fucking crazy. Yeah. The hag's defeated. Everything looks reasonably happy. Our main character, whose name I forgot for some fucking reason, our main character cocoons at the end because she's transforming so much she doesn't know what she's going to turn into. And that's pretty much where we leave it. Marguerite Bennett likes to do songs in her work, and that's a trick that I don't feel ever really works in comics. It just doesn't come off the page in the right way because you don't have the melody. But we opened with a song and we close with the same song. From rot the beauties of the world can only ever spring. From misery and sorrow comes the music that we sing. The sweetest summer roses arise from schlucky mud, and we who live to suffer as seasons flame and die know the hope of every creeping thing to be a butterfly. And that's where the story concludes until Volume 2. It sticks with you. Like I said at the beginning, it's a very, very introspective book that takes on a political, social issue head on and is very intentional in every choice it makes. And it ends up exemplifying the ideas that it's trying to combat really, really well through the storytelling. So Marguerite Bennett is really a master of playing with the political implications of story, the social implications through story, plot, and character. And it reads fantastically. So yeah. Let me just say this, give a little sneak preview. For October's comic book club, we are supposed to be on an independent week. We may still, or independent publisher month, we may still be able to pull that off. I'm not 100% sure, but as one of the voting options, this is going to be on there. So definitely consider picking it up. I would love to talk with some people about this on Comic Book Club. So hope to see you there. Hope you know what I'm voting for. All right, everyone. Thanks very much for watching this episode of Trade Talk. Till next time, bye.
That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.